part of the reason I actually reached out to Laz to do this podcast was, um, my dad, he passed away in 22. He wasn't
Sorry.
oh, thanks, man. And, likewise to your pops. But yeah, he wasn't really a big country guy,
Mhm.
but he had a soft spot for like Hank Jr.
Yeah.
Uh, and he kind of pointed that out to me when I was younger. And I don't know why, but I think it just came on occasionally, and he would just explain to me as like, this kind of gets the pass for me because he was more of like a classic rock
Yeah,
kind of
well,
guy.
that's what I was gonna say about Hank Jr. is he had a rebellious or still does, he's in his 70s, but he still has this rebellious side to him
Yeah.
where I feel like people that like rock and roll
Yeah.
can
It's
appreciate
it's
it.
like an easy kind of bridge,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Everybody wanted him to be his dad and sing his dad's songs, and he reached
Yeah.
a point where he was just like he just went wild.
Yeah.
Started writing outlaw country.
Yeah.
Says
Yeah, and what's weird about, the reason I reached out to Laz, I'm sure he probably told you or maybe he didn't tell you, is that, um, I listened to your guys's, full length that you put out in 23,
oh, yeah.
and what's strange about it is that for some odd reason, that record I just didn't listen front to back,
Mm,
but I had the others. I don't know why. You know, sometimes you just, like, listen to
no,
songs here and there, like, it'll
yeah,
be on Spotify radio or, like, one of your friends will put something on, you know, you might listen to half of it, then you go on to something else.
mhm,
But about 3 weeks ago, I decided to put that album on because I was just in the mood to listen to something more aggressive,
mm,
and I'm sure you understand because obviously you're surrounded by that kind of music 24/7.
mm.
So and I'm in the same boat because we listen to that constantly in the gym.
I was about
So
to say, if I'm tuned in with the gym, like, I feel like I'm listening to more heavy stuff.
yeah, yep. And so a lot of times when I have my own headphones on, I listen to really random stuff that's totally polar opposite than what's in here or what I grew up playing in bands or listening to just
Same.
because change of pace, whatever. But that particular day, I put on more power and I listened to it. And to be honest, I was just listening to it to kind of get charged up, you know, the way that, you know, you listen to a heavier band to lift, right?
Mhm.
But then what's strange is that the longer I got into that workout and I realized that a lot of those samples, at first I didn't realize who the interview, who they were interviewing.
Mm.
I just heard a person talking. And because his voice sounds a lot lighter and
Well,
softer
that
when he
was
talks.
we wanted to use the actual clip,
Yeah.
and then, when we were talking to the label about it, because that came up on a whim, like, we always go to the kitchen, take breaks, like, in between songwriting and recording and stuff
Yeah.
at the studio.
Yeah.
We go to the kitchen, somebody turns on YouTube, and we just get inspired with something.
Uh,
So we were looking up interviews of, like, our favorite artists and stuff, and that Hank interview came up, and the stuff he was saying had a lot to do with, like, what we felt like the record was about. We
yeah.
were just like, "This is crazy."
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we wanted to use it, like, pieced in between the songs, but the label at the time was just like, "We're gonna get sued probably," or, like, "Somebody's
Yeah.
gonna find out," or say which people do know, like, what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So Tyler recreated the whole thing, our guitar player, so he
Ah.
he was literally going down the road on tour, like, with his phone, like,
Oh, so that
he's even the girl
explains
voice.
really? So he did both?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he could easily be like, a voice actor.
Yeah, he might have a backup plan B there. That's
Exactly.
crazy. So, yeah, so, I mean, you'll have to tell him that I had an idea, but then when I listened to the original interview, I had thought that I just heard it, like, wrong. Like, I was like, "Oh, maybe I just didn't hear it correctly."
Right.
So he succeeded in,
I had to
in
tell you
playing it
that,
right.
yeah,
Um,
'cause, yeah, Hank sounds a little you can always hear Hank's voice and know
yeah.
that that's Hank.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. And so you kind of answered my question that I had about it, but you had mentioned that you guys kind of just stumbled upon it, you know, when you guys were recording.
Yeah.
But what's strange about it, and I even told one of my clients that I was training this morning that it pairs up so well that I actually thought that you guys had written a concept album.
Oh, like, around it.
Legitimately.
I wish. That sounds way cooler than what we did.
And I kinda told him, I was like, "I'm pretty sure they did. I don't know for sure, but my gut told me that you did." And so that's really crazy that it ended up lining up that closely because so when I used to be in bands, I did vocals. So I pay attention to the lyrics probably more than the average person,
Oh, nice.
you know, and the delivery of it. So a lot of the songs that follow up those individual clips really kinda hit home for what the clips are about. I'm sure that's why you guys chose,
Yeah,
you
it's
know.
it's kind of weird, and I think it's, one of those, it felt on purpose that it happened.
Yeah.
I find, like, life does that a lot of times where
Yeah.
it's just,
Yeah.
the right thing happens at the right time, and,
100%.
it was one of those things I feel like, and it's cool too because that's kinda how I feel, at least the music that I'm drawn to. I feel like a lot of the artists, like, you're able to connect with, and I think in this situation, I guess how I was feeling, which you can hear in the songs, like, like, through the lyrics and stuff,
Yeah.
like, matched up with, I mean, totally different life, different
Yeah.
happenings, but a lot of the same emotion and, like, what he was going through at that time, and
Mhm.
I think that's a really cool thing about music, and also how, or why I think I relate to old sad country and even, like, the edgier country.
Yeah.
um, I feel like, I don't know, it's like, we talked about doing a Hank Senior cover, and it's like the which I probably shouldn't have said that, but we were talking about, trying to do something like that, and it's
Yeah.
really cool to reimagine, like, some of these really old country songs
Yeah.
as, like, as something heavy because they're really sad, and sad is a very heavy emotion,
Yeah, it's true.
especially, like, when you're grieving, like, it's
Yeah.
'cause that a lot of times, like, the tears turn into something else,
Yeah.
and which is why the gym is such a great outlet.
Yeah.
And even when lifting, I find myself, like, go into those places sometimes,
Yeah.
not so much in, like, a sad way anymore. When I first started lifting, I would pull out any juice I could, like,
Yeah, yeah.
just thinking of some of the worst things I had been through right before a deadlift or
Yeah,
a
everyone
squat or
kinda does
something.
that, right?
I think there's a healthy medium, like
Yeah.
a good between, because I
Yeah.
do think it's bad for your mental health to constantly
Yeah,
do
to,
that.
like, revisit.
Yeah,
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. I've sort of gotten away from that, maybe somewhat from maturity, but also out of just taking care of myself,
exactly.
Like, when you're younger, you can deal with that, but you may not need to do that for decades. Uh,
But I don't know, maybe
yeah.
in a way it's okay
Yeah,
because maybe that's why we like listening to heavy music when we lift, 'cause
that's true.
it puts us in that space, and then when we
Yeah.
walk out of here,
Yeah.
it's not on
Yeah,
our
you do feel
backs.
cleared, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and back to your point about country music, and especially old country music being, like, pretty sad and, like, dark and it a lot of the older stuff doesn't really have a lot of edge to it, meaning that, like, it doesn't sound that tough or that hard,
Yeah.
but, like, if you listen to what the song's about and
It's
what the
all about
person's going
emotion.
through, it actually kind of is. So, I feel like the transition between that and, like, the music you guys play is really not that far off.
It doesn't seem like it, and
Yeah.
I even like, one of my best friends, his name's Drayton Farley, he
Mhm.
actually sings, like, Americana style
Oh, that's
country,
awesome.
and, he told me the crossover is so real, like, at a lot of these
Yeah.
shows that they're putting on, like, he'll see, like, Gideon merch, like, Kubla Khan merch, like, it's a lot of
Yeah.
there's starting to be that crossover
Yeah,
where,
yeah, yeah.
because I mean, I know I don't like to listen to heavy stuff all the time,
Yeah, of course.
and I also don't like to listen to soft stuff all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So I feel like that's where the crossover is, where it's like you're still feeling like I don't know, music is good for whatever emotion you're feeling, and
yeah,
I think it's good to switch it up, and I'm just noticing that that's like a
yeah.
normal thing in our it's just cool that I have a friend that's so close to it
Yeah,
that
it
can
kinda
tell
gives you,
me.
like, a window view
Yeah.
into that, and you're not as far away from it guessing what you think's going on. You could actually hear it firsthand from your friend saying, "Hey, this is actually happening,"
Yeah.
and I'm sure you notice that, like, in the kind of music that you play or we listen to, there's been, man, so much crossover between things in the last
Yeah.
10 years in a way that I didn't see it as prevalent before. It's always happened,
Mm.
but man, the last X years, it's really like there are a lot of connections there,
Yeah.
that I feel like weren't as strong as before, and I really enjoy it. I'm pretty ADHD about my
Oh,
music tastes. I'm sure you
same.
know what I would assume are the same. So it's kind of nice. And some of the notes that I made in my head when I was listening to the album were just like a lot of the content that were covered. But one of the biggest ones that stood out to me was the clip where he kind of talks about how he attempted or was contemplating suicide, and so
Alright.
there's like a mental health aspect to that. And I feel like, it's a very human thing to think about that occasionally or joke about it or people actually do it or try it or whatever. It's like it is a commonality whether we like to admit it or not.
Right.
And hearing him like or your friend, your friend's voice, but hearing him kind of like joke about it, even though it
Yeah, and he kinda
really
scoffs it
actually
off, like, laughs a
happened,
little bit. Yeah, yeah.
it kind of made me laugh because
Makes you feel more norm can't
yeah,
talk, more normal about it.
no,
Yeah.
100%. Because I thought about a lot of dark moments where I was like, yeah, like that, I guess could seem like a good idea at the time, but I know that that's not the right move. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
in
I
that
think we all
interview,
have intrusive thoughts,
yeah,
and life can get really dark, and frustrating,
yeah,
and I feel like Hank's a good, at least, like, that story, I
yeah,
kind of and a lot of stories, like, you see of people, like, reaching a certain success,
yeah,
um, and I've never really felt like, if I get to this, like, one moment or one achievement, like, I'll be, like, eternally happy,
yeah,
but you do start to think, like,
yeah,
at what point, like, I'm working so hard,
yeah,
um, I'm achieving more than I thought was ever possible.
yeah,
Like, when we were kids, like, I'm sure you didn't know you were gonna own all this shit, like,
yeah,
so
definitely
it's,
not.
you feel like you acquire this knowledge, you acquire wisdom along the way, and you find out that it's not these things and these things right in front of us that bring us that happiness that I feel like
Yeah,
everybody's kinda longing for, and
yeah,
it's more so like something inside of us all
yeah,
that you have to it's hard to find sometimes, but I
yeah,
feel like you have to build that relationship with yourself, and if you can't be, like, your own best friend, like,
yeah,
I feel like that's where I wrestled myself for years and years and years,
yeah,
and, and trying to get to a point where I love myself
yeah,
has been so difficult for some
yeah,
reason.
yeah,
But I think that is a big key is just to not, maybe not, worry so much about all these little inconveniences all the time and just,
yeah,
like, just go forward.
for sure.
This old guy I used to work with, he used to say, "Don't, don't don't pet the sweaty things and don't sweat the petty things."
That's a great saying. Yeah,
So I feel like, stuff like that where it's just, like, being able to let go of stuff that
yeah,
doesn't really have, a place to just take up storage in our minds.
yeah, totally. And you bring up a really great point. As far as like, I think we all get caught up in thinking like, well, if I just do this next, then everything will be all set. Or if I just reach this financial goal, or if I, get married, or like whatever the
Yeah.
milestone may be, you like set this goal up and you think it's all going to be great. And then you get there and you realize you can still have your own problems, your own shit to deal with, just like you did before.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
like losing sight of that it's not that final goal.
yeah,
It's like what it takes to get there. I feel like that's what's cool about setting new goals and, like,
yeah,
even with lifting, like, I really enjoy just, like, trying different plans. So it's like
yeah,
getting to, like getting through, like, somebody's, like, workout,
yeah, yeah,
like, um, it's an achievement. Like, you
yeah,
go
yeah.
through, like, the
You mean like a friend's
hypertrophy.
workout, or like, or like someone else's program, or
Yeah, just different programs.
yeah,
I've done both. Like, I've done a few programs of people that I just thought they were smart people, and then
yeah,
I've had a friend actually build out a program for me.
yeah,
And, then when you get from, like, hypertrophy phase, like, strength and then peaking
yep,
phase, like, you get to the end of it and you're just like, "Whoa."
yeah,
You see what, you find out you're more capable,
mhm,
than you thought you were, and then it's just about, like, setting that next
yeah,
goal. But, dude, this stuff has like, speaking of weightlifting and stuff, it's taught me more lessons about life than I feel like it all the
yeah,
stuff I'm saying
yeah.
is, I learned through this stuff.
Yeah, it's strange, right? Like there are so many days that something goes wrong or I have some sort of problem. It could be work related, it could be family, it could be you name it, like, I don't know, anything, any type of worry, concern,
Mm,
stress. And as much as I don't feel like working out, because when you're all messed up, the last
mm,
thing you want to do is be like, yeah, let me go like try to put myself through more stress.
yeah,
But I always make sure I do it, mostly because I'll literally figure out the answer to my problem in that workout.
yeah,
Even if it's just simply being like, I don't have the answer and that's okay for right now.
yeah,
I'm good.
because
Like,
that's part of the growing process.
yeah.
It's like you don't just, I don't know, wake up one day and say, "Okay, tomorrow I'm gonna deadlift 600 pounds." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you have there's a process,
Yep.
and just like the things like we're trying to, whether it's achieve a goal or whether it's get through some hardship that we're walking through in the moment,
Yep.
like the it's all a process,
Yep.
and you don't just get it overnight.
Yeah, exactly. And today when I was working, I was just, because before I do these podcasts, like it's just on my mind all day,
Mm,
in a good way, because I'm like looking forward to it and then contemplating topics, whatever. But one of the things I was thinking about today is that even when you walked in today, right? You were here, we were talking like 2017 or something like
yeah.
that. And you came in with Laz, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been
So
buddies
like
a long time.
shout out to Laz, that
Yeah.
dude's rad. But we were walking through and we were just talking about like what was here when you were here previously and then like what it is now, and like literally like where we're sitting at now wasn't even
No,
part of
it
the gym.
wasn't.
Um
It's
and
growing, brother.
yeah, thanks man, I appreciate it. But like I was thinking about like the things that I want to do with the gym or myself this morning, right? Because I think about that every day, like just like every person like that,
Yeah.
but I was thinking sort of about like, you being a musician and your band and the bands that you guys tour with. Like I was thinking about the similarities that we all have of where we want to go. Like,
Mm,
and I'm sure when you guys first started your band, like, you guys are like, I want to be out on the road again. I want to do this album. I want to have a record label support us.
mm,
I want to tour with better bands or whatever. And so I feel like you guys probably go through the same thing where, you probably thought like 4 years ago, oh, if I can just do this with the band, like everything will be all good. And
yeah.
then you get there and then you realize you're like, well, I still have to deal with all these things that were going on with me anyways, and it didn't go away.
Yeah, there's always
Uh,
something else to add. It's not so much of like fit like making the hard easier. It's
yeah,
it's about choosing your hard.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
and I think something, maybe I don't know if maybe you knew this going into it, but it was never on my mind as like a young kid that like what kind of hard I was choosing. Like, by whether it's like being an entrepreneur or
yeah,
like
yeah,
um there's a level of hard that comes with that freedom that we're in search of.
yeah,
And as long as I feel like if you love what you do,
yeah.
then that hard, I mean, yeah, it's really hard at times, like the
Oh,
sacrifice
for
and
sure.
stuff. But there's something fulfilling about
Yeah,
yeah, this road might be a lot harder than like the
yeah,
one that's like the just all signs point to go down,
yeah,
but I know it's gonna be worth it,
yep.
you know?
I have an ongoing joke with one of my friends, she's actually a client that works out here, but she has a tattoo shop literally across the river. And our ongoing joke is that like I've always sort of called us pirates. And I'm like,
Mm,
when you're a pirate, like you're gonna have really good days, and then you're gonna have days where you starve and you almost die, and like,
so true, man.
and it's when you choose that life, like when you want the maximum amount of freedom,
Yeah,
you also have to accept the really, really bad days and times
for
or
sure.
consequences that come along with that lifestyle,
Yeah,
and I mean, I can only imagine the kind of stuff that you guys deal with on a regular basis, like just challenges out on the road, or being away from home, or like we're talking about being away for your pets, stuff like
yeah.
that. But like, what kind of things have you learned in the span of being in Gideon from like just being in that band, or like touring together with your friends? Like, what kind of things have you picked up on that you feel like maybe you're a little wiser on now than maybe
Uh,
not as much like 3 years ago or whatever? Because those experiences, like they change you, and
mm,
there's no way that you could be out doing what you're doing and not figuring out
it's
all this
how
stuff.
it feels like a university I went to or something, like, it's
Like a
def
degree or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah. 'cause I've learned, like, all of my adult life has been spent touring, um, but I feel like one thing it's made me very conscious of is, like, not being home a lot,
Mm.
has made me really appreciate where I'm from,
Uh,
and, to the point where I think for at least when I was younger,
yeah.
I couldn't wait to, like,
I can only guess why. I think I would even,
you know what I
like
mean?
I
Like,
grew up in a small town, not
yeah,
Alabama.
yeah.
But yeah,
Very,
sorry.
very small, like,
Yeah.
it was never really I didn't have a bucket list or anything,
Yeah.
but, and I wanna take you through my whole life story right now,
No, yeah,
but
yeah.
it's,
Go ahead.
I guess what I've learned the most, I guess how I could wrap it up is, uh, when you have time to spend, um, even just a little bit of time to spare,
Yeah.
just to, just to sit and be with someone, um, that means a lot to you, take that time.
Yeah.
Don't be too tired or too inconvenienced to go, um, even if it's just listening to this person talk and, like,
Yeah.
tell you about how their life's been going since the last time you saw them, like,
Yeah.
um, because there is a day where you won't be able to hear their voice at all,
Yeah.
and, so I think it just I mean, we have memories is all we have at
Yeah,
the end
yeah.
of the day, so I feel like to make more memories with people that you love and care about,
Yeah, yeah.
um, and then I also think that it's definitely taught me that people take themselves too seriously, um, that I think that that's a big thing that took me a while to really push through, like, a wall of,
Yeah.
um, seeing everybody, like, you whether it's working, like, a big corporate job or I feel like people try to make tiers for, like, what kinda people are cool enough to talk to and, like,
Yeah.
who they should associate
It's a real
themselves.
thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It sounds very like elementary
Yeah,
to bring that up,
but that's
but
where they
like it
teach it to us, you know?
that's very true.
Yeah,
But it carries over to like your adult life, and then
yeah,
it makes you act in weird ways and it makes you do weird shit to try to like counter that and to try to fit in that like sort of Tetris scheme
mhm.
when it's all like just pointless to begin
It is.
with.
I the way I've started viewing things, like, especially, just people, like, if I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I don't know if it's, like, an anxiety cue where it, like, helps me just, like, talk to people more,
Yeah.
'cause when we started this, I was very introverted.
Yeah.
I think it just helps me to realize, like, we all have, like, these inner children and like, the inner child within
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
and we just time goes on and we get older, but those
Yep.
kids are still there,
Yep.
and,
That's true.
I feel like whenever you think about that, it's just it takes the tears away, I guess, like, as far as,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
who's more
yeah.
important
No,
than the next
I
person.
totally hear what you're saying, like, I mentioned earlier that I'm from, like, a small town, and so when I first moved to Chicago, plus some other, negative life experiences that other people brought on me or I brought on myself,
Mm.
it's kind of unclear at this point, when you get older, you realize you're like, "Oh, man, a lot of that stuff, like, I might have had a hand in that, I don't
Yeah,
know, or maybe
for
I didn't,
sure.
I don't know," but anyways, when I first moved here, I had a lot of layers there for no reason that were just like shielding me from, all this stuff that I had thought I had to be protective of, or I wouldn't give people the time of day because I thought maybe I would expose myself to them, in a
Right.
way that maybe they would take advantage of me, or
I've gone through similar thoughts, like, definitely with being in a band and, like,
yeah,
uh, I don't know, you'll see somebody start, like, doing the same things as you,
yeah,
and you're kinda like, "Wait a second, like, are they is this a true friend?
yeah, yep,
Is this somebody I can call on
yeah,
at the end of the day,
yep,
like, if my truck breaks down?"
yeah. Are they
Or,
gonna answer?
yeah,
And
or is this, or is class in session right now,
yeah.
and they're taking notes?
Yeah, yep. That's a really good way of putting it. Like, Yeah, whether they even are conscious that they're doing that or not,
Right.
but some people are just built that way to
But I think everything you and I have learned and have built,
yeah,
like, what better way to feel,
yeah,
um, I guess, the fruits of our labor,
yeah,
so to speak, of
yeah,
than to see it bloom elsewhere and,
yeah,
like,
yep.
realize the impact, like, we've made, like, I feel like
No,
that's
100%.
helped me a little bit, like, just, like, not be that way because I
Yeah,
started to get very paranoid as well for a
yeah.
while.
That kinda shows you the way to a degree, when you start, you know, I guess, doing things that are tangible, and you look back and you're like, "Okay, I created that," or I helped create that,"
Mhm.
or I did something that made someone else feel comfortable to be themselves or whatever, like, whatever those, like, rewards are, they're not monetary, you know?
Mm.
And I feel like it kinda helps you figure out how to go back to, like, who you probably were supposed to be from the get-go, from, like, a
That
very young age, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Why
And
you started doing what you're doing in the first place.
yeah, and it's kinda nice, honestly, and the biggest thing I realized is that what the world really needs or the people around you really need are not more layers and more of a shield and, like,
Take them away.
yeah, and just, like, be vulnerable and, like, whatever is gonna happen to you is gonna happen to you, and,
Do you feel like a passenger sometimes?
yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah,
almost like the stuff that's happening, like, I don't know, this popped up in my head whenever you were talking about, how maybe I have had a hand in making, like, some people feel a certain type of way or something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
Sometimes, like, and maybe it's just because of my perception of time and how everything just feels like it's so fast, right?
mhm,
The older I get, it just feels like a day is just like that, you know?
yeah,
Um, but sometimes I look back at, like, everything, and I don't know if it's just hard for me to grasp that, like, the decisions I've made that led me to where I'm at right now,
yeah,
but
yeah,
sometimes I look back and it feels like it's just been a ride.
yeah.
Like like everything that was supposed to happen was already set in place and I'm just observing it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
I see what you're saying about the passenger
well, even
comment now,
Gideon, like I hadn't even been playing drums for a year yet. I was in the 10th grade and my buddy was like, "Hey, I found 2 guys that are looking for a drummer. They're gonna start a band called Gideon."
Yeah,
And I was like, "Dude, I wanna play drums for a year before I join anything."
yeah,
I just switched from guitar to drums. I'm trying to make it work, playing the kid at church all the time.
yeah, yeah.
And he was like, "Well, I told them they could practice at your house Thursday." And dude, that's how I got here.
That's
Like, it was
crazy.
almost like somebody opened the door and shoved me in and closed it, you know?
So your buddy had already told them that they could practice at
Yeah.
your house,
Before
and
I
then
said yes or no.
that's a good friend.
Yeah, he's a great friend.
That's crazy because that was one of the things I was gonna ask you was like, you know, were you playing drums in other bands prior to that?
No, I
Like,
didn't play
'cause
in any other groups. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, because I would assumed that you would have, like, even
It's
the first
church.
album you got oh, it's Church,
It
okay.
was just church. And I was listening to once I got into drums,
Mhm,
um, I started going to heavy shows when I was, like, 14.
mhm.
There was this church that had a venue in the basement called The Fish in
Yeah.
Tuscaloosa, and so I would just ask my dad, like, "Hey, will you take me and my friend to this show? It's at this
What
church,"
was
and he
his,
had no idea that it was heavy music.
oh, so he thought he was just bringing you, like, a church show, like a church
Yeah,
concert or something like
I think
that?
so, yeah. But it was cool because he grew up rock and roll. My pawpaw was, like, very country. My dad's music was too heavy for my pawpaw, and now my music all of a sudden is too heavy for my dad, and, so it's cool, like, how it all happened, I
Yeah,
guess.
yeah.
My dad met my mom playing in clubs, like, he was, um, lead guitarist for this band, and, um
So he played rock and roll?
yeah, and he
So
was so sick, bro.
really?
Yeah, he
What
was really
kinda what
good.
kinda, like, rock and roll was it? Or, like, what kinda
Very
scene
Southern rock.
okay.
So, like, one of his main influences was Leonard Skinner, and not like how a lot of people would listen to Leonard Skinner. My dad taught me, like, how to he's like, "There's people that listen to music, and then there's people that feel music." And he taught me the difference very early on in my life, where I was able to hear these simple songs and really feel emotion and, like,
Yeah.
what was coming out. Um But yeah, he loved Leonard Skinner. Him and my uncle Billy loved Led Zeppelin as well. Um, so really those 2 bands, like, were it was kind of like a rivalry of, like, who
Uh,
was and a lot of blues and so I guess it's very blues influenced rock and roll is how I would put it.
that's cool.
But we had the discussion one day, we are like, "So who's better, Led Zeppelin or Leonard Skinner?" And he was like, "Leonard Skinner feels more like home because they're writing songs
Yeah.
that are so close to, like,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
we know how to feel them more and stuff."
yeah.
So it was we settled on that, and dude, weird story, but, and I'm sorry to go off on this
No, no,
track real
yeah, do
quick,
your
but I
thing,
gotta
yeah.
tell you this beautiful
Yeah,
story.
sure.
We were in Tokyo, uh, on my dad's birthday,
Okay.
and this is my his first birthday that he wasn't with us, and I'm bummed, bro. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah, yeah, of course.
I walked past the shoe store, I saw the Forrest Gump Cortezes, he loved Forrest Gump, so I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm buying those. So I bought the Forrest Gump shoes,
there you go.
and then we're driving through Tokyo as the sun's going down, and our driver, who his name was Shoki, he had been playing nothing but Japanese house music while he drove. It felt like we were in, like, a Need for Speed the whole time, you know?
Yeah,
For whatever reason, dude puts on my dad's favorite Leonard Skinner album. I don't know if he just picked it because of a certain song, but after the first song played, he just let it keep going, and so I'm in Japan, so far from home, and it feels like my dad's just, like, got his arm around me, and I'm just in the back seat, just, like, bawling my eyes out, like
dude.
so Leonard Skinner is very close to my heart, dude, yeah, so my dad and my uncle Billy are the reason, I guess, and my sister Jen, she was a drummer actually, and
Oh, yeah?
that's
She older sister or
yeah,
younger?
older
Okay.
sister, and,
So you, of course, were probably admiring her a little bit,
oh,
growing
yeah,
up
the
and
first time I got stung by a wasp, I was I was outside of my dad had the shed in the backyard where she would play her drums, and
Yeah,
she had the door locked so nobody could come in,
yeah.
and I was trying to get in there so bad to watch her play drums, I got stung by a wasp. Um,
You're just hanging out
I
by the
still give her
shed.
shit about that.
Uh,
But yeah, she would actually go, she's a good big sister. Both of my sisters, Jackie and Jennifer, I love them very much. Um, but Jennifer, if she thought I would be into a record,
yeah,
uh, she would buy one from like, if she went to the store back when you bought CDs,
yeah,
she would, like, get me one, and, I think she had a lot to do with why I probably ended up being a drummer. Um, but yeah, I didn't find it till way later in life, and then, of course, all the drums and heavy music,
yeah.
they're athletes, you know?
Yeah, yeah, it's like it's a different kind of work, I would
Yeah,
imagine, it seems physically demanding on another
yeah.
level, you
So I
know?
got really into my ADHD self, like, I'm getting detention every day because 'cause I'm, like, trying to make my feet faster in class, you know?
Yeah.
And, I don't know, I got really into going fast, and then I think as I got older and streaming services became a thing where, like, I can go back in time and find these albums that I grew up listening to, whether it's country or rock and
Yeah,
roll or blues.
yeah,
Um, I'm able to, like, go back and revisit those, and, uh, when my dad found out I was writing a lot of music, he would tell me, like, "Don't just listen to the band you're influenced by, like, go down the rabbit hole and see who they listen to and see who they listen to."
yeah,
It all led back to the blues for me. So, then I find myself, okay, I don't really wanna go fast anymore because there's not
yeah,
enough negative space, and when you hear blues songs and good rock and roll songs, like, there's
yeah,
space in the music, and
yeah,
it gives you time to, like, push and pull, and
yeah,
it
in rap,
really
they call it, like,
that's what
letting it
makes people
breathe or
yeah,
whatever, like,
so it
yeah,
makes people dance.
yeah, yeah,
So, I think the older influence that, my uncle and dad had on me kinda helped form my taste in drumming now, where I'm not really concerned with, like, being the fastest drummer.
yeah,
I just wanna make people move. Like,
yeah,
I wanna make somebody feel like the feeling and the space
yeah,
in a groove. It feels
yeah.
so good to me.
Your guys' song structure really, like, I don't know how to put it. It doesn't play into it, legitimately, like, if you're gonna go to a show and see you guys or, like, Kublai, it almost demands movement from the people that are there watching it because it's just, it's awkward to stand there It just doesn't feel right.
I
Like,
know what you mean.
and I know that because I went to a Kublai show like a year ago with a couple buddies of mine. I wasn't really feeling great that night. I'd been to work all day, worked a double, just like not feeling it. And I went and I ended up just like literally put my hood up, cinched the string shut, and I just like ran head first, like into the middle of the crowd. And I don't really do that anymore
Yeah.
that much. I mean, maybe if it's like a friend's band from
When you
back in
get
the
that
day or
itch
something
though,
like
you
that.
gotta
But
go.
yeah, so you're exactly right. And
No, it's hard to hold your head still. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I watched them side stage a lot. Those have been good buddies of ours since I was probably
yeah,
19 or 20,
yeah.
and I find myself watching them a lot, and I can't hold my head still. I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
like
no, it's understandable,
it's
and
uncomfortable.
it's a weird question, because it might just be the obvious, and I just am, like, sort of out of the loop or whatever, but
No, man.
do you guys
Ain't a bad question.
do you guys feel like the stuff that you're writing, especially, like, the last, I don't know, like, 3, 4 years in Kublai Khan, I'm sure there's some others maybe you could think of, but it almost seems like a subsection of
Th
hardcore or like
Oh, that's
metalcore,
cool to think about.
deathcore, and it almost feels like to me it's like a slightly different genre of sorts, but not for like ethos or any of that stuff, not what you guys are
Right.
about, but just the sound alone. So like, how would you describe what that is or what that sound is from the person who's in one of those actual bands? Because I've been listening to hardcore since I was 13. I'm
Mm,
41 now.
mm.
So if I notice that something different is going on from a sound perspective, it's usually not me just being weird and making it up,
Right. Um,
because it's chuggier,
yeah,
it's
muddier,
heavier, but it's not.
swampier. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
so we kind of pieced this together a while back and really thought about this. I'm gonna take it back to the hip hop world, like the rap world.
Okay.
It was always East Coast, West Coast battling it out all the
Yeah, yeah.
time. Then all of a sudden, Outkast wins an award
Yep,
for Best Album of the Year,
yep.
and they're from Atlanta, Georgia. And I think it was BET Awards. Uh, Andre 3000 gets up, and everybody's booing them because they're not from the East or the West.
Like at the awards.
Yeah,
Interesting.
and Andre 3000 gets on the mic, and he's just like, "Man, I don't know what to say, y'all. Like, the South's got something to say," and he just walks away.
Yeah.
And and I have felt like when we first came into this, and I was even talking to Matt about this the other night. When we first came into this, it was a lot of bands from the West,
Mhm.
a lot of bands from the East.
That's true.
Nobody was really doing it like that,
Mm.
like in Alabama. There were bands
Yeah.
obviously that influenced us, or I wouldn't be
Sure,
here.
sure.
Like My Children, My Bride, like
Yeah.
Maylene, like those are both like
Yeah,
Alabama
mainly, man,
bands.
I have one of my really good friends, we talk about that band regularly. We
Yeah.
send each other songs of theirs regularly. I can't get enough of that, man.
Yeah,
And I
that's stuff,
never
like, I was hearing early on and
yeah, I never
obviously
thought about
influenced
that,
me.
like, those bands down there, being an influence on you guys. I
Yeah,
mean,
big time.
now I can see it,
Yeah.
even though the sounds are so different,
Mhm.
but it's really easy to, like, see how you got there,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
But I think it's getting to a point where you stop worrying if somebody is gonna think you're dumb, for being
Yeah,
where you're from,
yeah,
and, I can only speak on, like, how we got here,
sure.
um, but, like, my friend Sean Keith said one time outside of Dallas, he was like, "Everybody's, like, saying you guys are, like, this developmental band, like, you don't know what your image is, and, like, it's, like, stopping people from kinda, like, working with you guys or whatever." And, and it was just like he was our manager, so
Yeah,
or he is our
yeah,
manager,
yeah, yeah.
been with us a long time. But he was like, basically encouraged us to stop worrying about what people thought about us, and he was like, "Be yourself, but turn it to 20," you
So that was
know?
his reaction when he had heard a negative thing,
No,
sort of? Or, like
he was just I guess, scheming about, like, how to
oh,
push
oh,
us
I
as a
see, I
band,
understand now.
how to push us forward.
Yeah, people were saying that, yeah, like, you guys weren't sure what it was.
Yeah,
So he was basically trying to get you guys to embrace,
embrace who we
like,
were.
what you just wanted to do,
Right.
period, like
He's like, "You guys are wearing, work boots, like,
Yeah.
You guys are it's like a I can tell, like, you're being yourself,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but just, like, stop stop caring if, like, you'll
Yeah.
be able to, like I don't know, if somebody's got something to say about the way you dress or the way you talk or
Yeah.
what
Well,
you
they're
put
gonna
in your music.
anyways, so
Exactly.
it doesn't really matter.
So just be yourself, like, entirely, and I know, at least us in Kubla Khan, I know, like, share a lot of, and some other bands we've toured with too that are from down there, like, they're finding out that they really, mess with the older stuff that,
Yeah.
they grew up on, and it's when you're trying to, like, connect with your roots and allow it to come out in your music, um what better way than to, like, put on some older music that you heard as a kid and, like,
Yeah.
try to reconnect with that feeling and
Yeah.
everything, and, um, I don't know, for me at least, like, speaking on blues,
Yeah.
it's very, there's a certain feeling you get from blues where it's, like,
Yeah.
it's got that swamp in it, it's got
Yeah.
that mud in it,
Yep.
and I think, at least for us, like, I want that to bleed out as much as possible,
Yeah. It's not
and our
overly polished.
right, and our producer, we go to the same producer, his name's Randy,
Mhm.
and, Randy LaBeouf, and he's from Louisiana. So he grew up on a lot of these, like, old country
Ah,
songs that I grew up on, so I can come to Randy and be
yeah, yeah.
like, a lot of times we just reminisce on old songs. Like,
Yeah.
the song, or words that we thought the words were whenever we were younger, like, there's this George Strait song that says, the song's called "Check Yes or No."
Yeah.
He thought it was Jack Gets a Note. So we're trying to, like I don't know, it's fun
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
with your buddies and just, like,
Yeah.
listen to some good music and stuff, but,
Yeah.
maybe that's where the sound is I would say that maybe that's where the sound is originating from is, like,
Yeah.
people just embracing where they're from
Yeah.
and letting it seep into their artistry,
Yeah.
because there's so many ways as an artist to, like, let it bleed out, and I think being a true artist is not just like if you were a painter, like, that's one way to get out your feelings and get out who you are into the world.
Yeah.
But another way is let it bleed out into everything, what you wear,
Yeah.
um, everything,
I know what you mean.
really
No, just the way
everything.
you act too,
Yeah,
like, like the way you carry yourself,
yeah, open
you
some
know?
doors, say, "Yes, ma'am. No, sir."
Yeah, yeah.
Be nice. I don't know, like, a lot of the stuff, I remember when we first started touring, um, there were a lot of bands that acted like we were especially me, like, that I was just, like, slow just because, like,
'Cause you're
I was
polite.
just nice and simple. Yeah. And s and so I think it was getting, comfortable with that feeling too, is just like,
Yeah.
who cares what anybody, thinks of me at the end of the day, like, I
Yeah.
just have to be myself.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great thing, and like I said, I've been listening to this kind of music for a really long time, and I've seen a lot of phases and trends. I've also been a part of those phases and trends,
Same, brother.
like a lot of embarrassing photos, a lot of ridiculous outfits, you name it. Like it gets worse than that, but I won't even go down that rabbit hole. But
That's a good rabbit hole to
uh
go down.
girls' jeans.
Yeah, dude. Did you
But
skateboard at one point?
I rode BMX.
Okay. So I
But
skateboarded and I wore the crew jeans and, like, the
yeah.
fallen jeans and stuff.
Yeah, but we always hung out with skateboarders and like when I'd mess around with the skateboard, but I was more of a BMX guy. But it's kind of like the same, it's the
Yeah.
same deal,
Same
same
world.
antics. But one of the things I was thinking about when you're talking about like your guys' image and like, your manager was talking about like turning the volume up
Mm,
100% on it. It's nice for like I said, growing up in a small town or like growing up in the Midwest or growing up in the South. Like there's a lot of similarities there, even though it's different.
mm.
But it is nice to see dudes on stage with like cowboy boots on or cowboy hat or like,
It feels so good
like
because that's what our heroes wore on stage.
that's
Like, I'm
yeah,
sure
like
Alan Jackson didn't walk around in cowboy boots, like,
yeah,
walking through the kitchen and stuff, maybe
of
did,
course.
but not every day.
Not all the
But
time.
it's cool to see, like, the people where I'm from,
Yeah,
like, how they presented themselves,
yeah,
and, I mean, it's that saying, like, Also, like, dress for the job you want, not the one you have,
Yeah.
and it's I think, especially going to Europe a bunch and seeing, like, how people would just, like immediately when you walk in, like, you're an outcast
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because you look so different than everybody. I think once you get used to that feeling and
Yeah.
not like a
I know what
egotistical,
you
like,
mean.
all eyes on me,
Yeah, yeah.
but
You're
it
just
is
comfortable being
being
yourself
being
even
comfortable in
in
your own skin.
like, yeah, like, we've traveled to Europe a couple times too, and,
That's fun,
unless
man.
you dress it is fun, and unless you dress the part, like, people clearly
Yeah.
know.
But that's okay, is what I'm trying to say, is,
Yeah,
like,
I like it, like,
it's okay to
it's
be
funny.
different.
Yeah, and, like, one thing I was thinking about too is, like, my grandpa and, like, my dad's best friends, my baseball coach growing up, like, all these, like, even my mom sitting here with us, like, she worked at John Deere, she worked in the factory
Oh,
at John
yeah.
Deere, like, my grandma, like, my aunts, like, none of them were, like,
And
polished,
nothing runs
everyone
like a deer, by the way.
and so like it's nice to see some of those elements, whether it's like music or like fashion or image or whatever,
Mm.
come out into hardcore
Dude, it's weird.
because like for some reason it's like two separate lives. We're like we all grew up around that. We all grew up, like rough and tumble and family or like, influences and then like in hardcore it's like, you know, you only look like this, you only dress like that, and your band's only allowed to do this, and
That's kinda
you're
been my problem with hardcore through the years,
yeah,
and our band has never been we've always been, like, too metal to be hardcore, and we've always been too hardcore to be accepted by, like,
yeah,
metal and metalcore.
yeah.
We've been in this, like, weird
Yeah, it's like a
thing.
purgatory in
Yeah,
between
you've
kinda
never
thing.
seen us play,
Yeah,
like, hardcore festivals and, like, LDB and stuff
yeah,
like that, like,
that's true.
we're not really
Yeah.
it doesn't m and I'm not trying to call them out, I'm
Sure,
just
yeah, I
saying,
know what
like,
you mean. It's
for us
it's
as a
just a
band.
reference, yeah.
Yeah.
But it is nice to see, like, I don't know if you guys played a show and it was the background or if I think it was the background of a show, but you guys had, like, the front of a F-250 or something like that,
Oh, we have you'll see it.
or is that okay, alright,
Yeah, you'll see it. We
or
got
so
a
it's this current tour,
yeah, yeah.
but, it's just, like, things like that, like, like, the part of the reason I own a truck is because I grew up in trucks,
Yeah,
my dad had one, my grandpa had one, like, places I worked had them, and, like, it's weird, man, it's like it's a fun way to pay homage to, like, the way you grew up
yeah.
or your influences or, like, things that you like, and then, like, if you think about it, the kind of music that you guys play is, like, it's a little bit harder, it's tougher, it's
Mhm.
gnarlier, and so, like, why can't the artwork also match that? It doesn't always have to be a
Exactly.
skull or a cemetery, you know what I mean? Or, like,
Yeah.
the same
Trucks
old,
are strong and heavy, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly, dude, and, yeah, so I really appreciate what you guys are doing, and
Thank you.
I appreciate you, like, kinda going through and explaining what that sound is because I felt like it was kind of a funny question, because obviously you guys fit in a genre, but, like, not really, and I think that's what is enjoyable about, like, seeing bands like you guys and other bands from the South.
Yeah, I think part of what we're doing, and just like every other human on earth is doing, is just trying to figure out, like, uh, I guess where we're going, and trying to
Yeah,
find out what do I do next?
yeah,
And I think as we just keep taking steps forward along the way, it feels like we're sitting more and more into, just being comfortable with expressing
yeah.
ourselves, and,
It's nice, right? Like, it
feels so
feels
good.
relaxing, and it's just easier, you know, e even though there may be some downsides to it,
Mm.
but it overall is
Well, you
easier.
might have some people look at you and say, "Oh, that guy's this or that guy's that," or,
Oh, for
or
sure.
they don't belong in this genre, or they don't
Totally.
belong in that genre. Um,
That even happens to me with gym culture
yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
are like, "How did this hick end up in the
Yeah.
powerlifting and shit?"
They
And I'm
try
like,
to
"What are you
they
talking about?"
everybody wants to put everybody in a box.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But the hardcore I grew up on, the shows I went to as a kid, it was all about, how everybody that felt
Yeah.
I guess this place where it was home. It was like
Yeah, yeah.
everybody was accepted here. Um, there was a certain etiquette that you followed,
Yep,
and if you mess with that, people would let you know.
yep.
Um, but it was a community, and where judgment was kinda left at the door,
Yep.
and it's made me kinda sad throughout the years, to see how judgmental, scenes can get,
Yeah, yeah.
and how judgmental, like, if you don't wear this certain type of thing and this kind of shirt, these shoes, like this hat, and
Yeah.
it's really because I think artists are such a big part of like subculture and like where
Yeah.
fashion comes from.
Totally.
But it's I just hate how many rules started to apply,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's like, wait,
Kinda defeats the
yeah,
purpose.
we're doing this because we're not into rules.
Yep.
Like we don't want people telling us like how to be.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think I'm okay with never being, fully accepted in one or the other, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's
It
kind of a
just
compliment, honestly. I've realized at this stage in life is that if you don't get in that little niche, like it's
you're in
gonna
your
be
own lane.
uncomfortable, it's gonna suck, and sometimes it must suck like daily.
Yeah,
But like you said, you're in your own lane and like
and people notice that and follow what you're doing.
it's a better place to be, I'd rather do that than not. And that's why like back in the day, like I would go to shows and there'd be like a ska band on there, and
Dude,
there'd
yeah,
be like a youth crew band on there, and then like a metal band that like clearly had no business playing that show because they didn't even know what hardcore was. They
yeah,
just wanted a gig.
yep.
They just like wanted to shred on their guitars, and then there would be like the headliner that was like a legit big band or not. Like,
It seemed like every band was so different on the bill.
so I miss that a lot, and
Same.
any element of that, I reinvite back into my life. I did have a quick question for you to close up on, I guess, because
I'm
we were
sorry I
trying.
talked too much.
No,
I got
no, no.
down the
I
rabbit
feel
hole.
bad for you because I know you're on a schedule, and we were trying to make this short and failed. But you guys put a single out. It's called "Till the Wheels Fall Off,"
Yeah,
right? And the first time I listened to it, I was like, "All right, this is like a heavy song to get pissed to," like and I think that is what it is. But then as I listened to it a little bit more, um, it kind of feels like it's reactionary to a lot of things that a person's dealing with these days. That's kind of how I took it. So I took some notes real quick. I don't know, do you mind if I read it to you real
let's go.
fast? So, like the notes that I took was like when I listen to that song, it sounds like the song is like very relatable to all the things that's going on in the world today, like added pressures, social media affecting us, balancing the fast-paced environment we live in. The future is moving at unthinkable speeds, and we're not like built to deal with it.
Very true.
Reminds me that we have like one job to do, which is to like basically hammer away and flourish and not get caught up in all the distractions. That was my like
I
takeaway
love that.
from that song. Um, and I just wanted to like see if there was any add-ons to that that you had, or maybe I was way off. But
No, I love
uh,
hearing like the interpretation. Uh, because I've noticed that a lot with songs, through the years is like, I might be thinking of this thing over here,
yeah,
and it almost makes it where you don't ever wanna come out and be like,
yeah,
"Hey, this is what this
yeah. You
song's
don't want
about,"
to tell them exactly.
because whatever that song means to you is
Mhm.
like, that's
Yeah,
what
that's
that song
true. Yeah,
means,
you're like, I'm not going to ruin it
and
for
I
you
want it
once.
to mean that.
Yeah,
But also I've noticed I'll write about something,
yeah.
and then after the song comes out, I'm like, "Oh, that's what this song was really about."
That's cool.
It just wasn't I didn't know it yet.
Yeah, you had to branch off your initial
I
idea.
and I'm not saying I'm speaking the future or, like,
Sure. Yeah.
manifesting the everything around
Yeah.
me. I don't know how weird everything gets,
I know what you mean.
but there are times where especially, like, we totaled our van one time, and people were, like, sending us our own lyrics to, like, help us get through this hard
That
time.
rules.
It was amazing.
That's actually really sick.
Um,
Kind of gives me goosebumps to think about it.
it was awesome. So, I wrote it basically, about going back to, like, the root of, like, why I started doing this, and, and then fast forwarding and almost like, where I was in the moment of writing the song and being like, from then till now, like, what is the same in my life? Like, what has changed?
Yeah.
What needs to change? And so even the beginning of that song is actually explaining the town that I'm from. Like it says, one stoplight, 5 steeples, same problem, same people. And it was that feeling of just like,
And which song is this?
Till the Wheels Fall.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's okay, I didn't realize that that was that in depth, like, I'm gonna have to listen to it now with an entirely different,
Well, I originally
like
wrote it, like, as a poem, like, "One Stoplight, Five Steeples" was just, like,
yeah,
a poem that I had written, and, and then it ended up fitting really well over, like, this song that, like, Tyler and
yeah,
Caleb were working on,
yeah, yeah,
and, but I knew that that's, like, where I wanted it to start, and
yeah,
it kinda felt like, okay, well, the point of there was that feeling again of just, like, I gotta get out,
yeah,
and I gotta do what I feel like is right for me, and, um, and I gotta do it now because,
yeah,
with a urgency,
yeah,
like, realizing that we're very mortal and that
yep,
time is fleeting, and it's like, if I wanna do all the things I wanna do, and
yeah,
I gotta do it now,
yeah,
and, so I think, and it talks of like, there's some points in there where it's like, if regret starts gaining ground, like, thinking about, like, the ones you're leaving behind and how much you love them, like, a lot of times that slowed me down with, like, the guys have been trying to get me to move to Nashville for so long. It's
yeah,
like, I know there's opportunity there and
yeah,
stuff like that for me as a drummer,
sure,
but it's like I think back a lot, and I don't wanna, like,
yeah,
regret all of these things, and
yeah,
so in that song, it's all about, like, kinda coaching my mind and just like, "You gotta put the hammer down, brother, you gotta hit the gas," and because
yeah,
nothing's gonna change
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Everybody like, we're all gonna love each other, and
yeah,
all these problems are still here when you get back as well,
that's
like,
true.
but we gotta go,
Yeah,
and,
and yeah,
but it's really cool hearing your interpretation of
yeah,
what you thought it was, 'cause I've reached a point where, like, I just wanna write songs about things that are just close
yeah,
feelings that I'm having, and I know if I do that, and I'm true to just, like, writing this simple thing
yeah,
that I'm feeling,
yeah,
somebody else is because it's a real feeling, I know somebody else is gonna hear it,
yeah,
and whatever they're feeling in the moment,
yeah,
you'll be able to
yeah. It
think of it
allows
in a
them to
different
take
way.
it, you know,
Yeah,
and if it's too complicated and complex and it's like, it almost becomes a question of like,
yeah,
I know so little about this situation that like, if I listen to like a mathcore song, like a lot of
yeah.
times I'm not walking away being like, all right, man, that really inspired me to like, I'm listening for different reasons. But no, I'm happy to hear the explanation of it. And it actually is kind of funny because like when I was jotting that down earlier, I was like, he's gonna think this is so insane. This is probably not anywhere near,
No,
and
it
it's
doesn't
actually pretty like it's similar, but it's nice to hear your version of it.
it doesn't, I I know it sounds like different things are going on for real,
Yeah.
but I love hearing because now when I listen to it, I'm gonna be listening to it through your scope,
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
um, and just feel what you're feeling, but
yeah.
I think music's so cool in that way, man, and that's why I also just love simple songwriters. I was big on, grew up like Tom Petty as well,
Mhm.
like, such a good songwriter. Um, even, like, Stevie Nicks,
Yeah, I
like,
love Stevie Nicks.
I would come home and my dad would have all these documentaries, like, that was his way of helping, like, I guess, coach me. He'd
Yeah,
be like, "When you're home this
yep,
time, you're gonna watch this and, like,
yeah,
learn about these people."
yep,
And something I learned from, like, watching stuff about Stevie Nicks is she pays attention to conversations she's having every day, signs on the wall, like, whether it's, like, T-shirts or whatever,
yeah,
and, when the lightning strikes of,
yeah,
like, "Oh, that could go in a song,"
yep,
she's writing it down immediately,
yep,
and, I think it's just stuff like that, like, being very aware of what's going around you
yeah,
and how you're feeling and being able to convey that in a song. It sounds a lot easier than it actually is,
yeah, yeah,
but it's something I strive to get better at. I really wanna get better at storytelling.
yeah.
It's, and then I've learned that, like, true storytelling is it's a gift.
Oh god, it's so hard. Like, you ever notice anytime you just try to repeat something that happened that you already had memorized. Like,
Right.
sometimes it's just hard explaining what it was, and then people will look at you like, "Man, why did you just waste 2 minutes of my
Yeah.
time?" But in your
I do
head, you're
that
like,
all the
"This is the
time.
coolest shit ever," and you just it's conveying it as an entirely different
It's worse when
story,
it's
and
like a funny story and you're like, "No, listen to this." And they just look at you.
they just stare at you.
Yeah.
But no, I really appreciate you doing this. I
Well,
definitely
thank you for
would
having me.
like to do this again in the future. I feel like there's honestly so much shit that we haven't touched on that I would love to get in,
Well, I'm
with you
sorry if I
on. So
went too down one road or the
no,
other,
it's
but
awesome, man. It's so good. And I really hope you guys have a fantastic show in Chicago tonight.
it's gonna be
And
cool. It's a out no, it's not outside, it's just it's in the big room,
it's
but
inside. All right.
it's gonna be a big one.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, man. I
Thank you so
appreciate
much for
it.
having me.